and it is 2,288 days that Chibok girls have been taken away. And you know, it's really sad that 112 of them are still in captivity, or 6 years after they were taken away. And that, I think, sums up the whole issue of what the Nigerian life means to the Nigerian government. You said something earlier. It was said that the Nigerian government was invited to be part of this discussion, and of course they refused. And I'm sure nobody will be surprised about that. The primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and properties, and any government that fails to protect the lives and properties of the citizen is not fit to be called the government. And the Nigerian government has not only failed the Nigerian people, they have also failed themselves. And you see the impunity, you see the disregard, you see the disdain for Nigerians, and so they will not be bothered to be part of anything like this. And of course, they are able to get away with it because we are a nation of people who are ready to allow them abdicate their responsibilities. You know, we're talking about ethno-religious fault lines here, and I always say something, that Nigerians are the kind of people that are ready to fight for God, and yet they leave their fight to God. When it comes to issue of fighting for good governance, when it comes to issue of fighting for the right to be protected by their government, they are nowhere to be found. But the moment you say something about their beliefs, their God, or something, you see all of them, we all come out with our swords drawn, and everybody is ready to fight. And I think most importantly, the politicians they know this. The leaders we have, or rather we call them rulers, they know this, and they are always stuck in it. In the issue of these fault lines, yes, there are divides, of course. There are different people, we speak different languages, there are different beliefs. But the thing is that there are people who, for them, it is important that the people remain divided. And what they have done over time is to continuously increase this fault line, is to continuously bring out this divide that we have. When it comes to politics, they remember that we are different languages, we have different religions, we come from different regions, but when it comes to corruption, they are all one and the same, and they're doing the same thing, they're having fun. When it comes to corruption, you don't see the Muslim, or it's only Muslims or Christians or or traditionalists or whatever it is, they all come together and they enjoy from the big pot. But when it comes to the people, they know the way that they will divide the people. And of course, we are focused on that because we, at the end of the day, people are just sitting down, they are helpless in a way, and at the same time, they don't want to be the one to act. Everybody is trying to do the right thing and just be there. But most importantly, for me, I know we keep going back to the historical perspective, where this is how Nigeria came about. Yes, we've had independence now since 1960. This year, October, will be our 60th year. What have we done in these 60 years? By the time we are looking at the things that separate us, the languages and all of that, can we look at the things that all bring us together? The poverty in Nigeria has no respect for religion or tribe. Look at the bad roads, the lack of infrastructure, the fact that people are being killed everywhere. And I think we all as a nation need to focus on this thing and know that we are all affected and begin to do something about it. We're talking about accountability and corruption within the system and also within the military, right? In 2014, the Prime Minister of Iraq decided to do a forensic audit of the military, and they were able to unearth about 50,000 ghost soldiers. So when people look at, ghost workers, we're familiar with ghost workers. I mean, ghost workers, we take away money from the system. Ghost soldiers not only take away money from the system, they also kill the people. Because when you're supposed to have 10,000 soldiers, maybe there are like 3,000 there. And of course, it makes the people vulnerable. Remember in 2014, I think it was, when the then President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan said he had sent 20,000 soldiers to the Northeast. A lot of people in the Northeast kept saying, where are the soldiers? We can't see them. 20,000 is not just a small number that will just disappear without the impact being felt. In Iraq, they found that there were a lot of people who were soldiers who, instead of being at their duty post, or they would simply give a percentage of their income to their superiors and they did their other business. If we were to come to investigate Nigeria, if we were to go to do that same thing in Nigeria, how many ghost soldiers are we going to find? That's the question. And that's why it still comes down to the table of the commander-in-chief, because he's the one that has been voted for to make things right. Coming back to the question that have been asked, for me, as I grew up a very angry teenager. And I will tell you, I hated Nigeria. I hated the corruption. I hated the bad governance. I hated all the things that were going on, the poverty. I grew up poor. I grew up in a Kano, in an area called Panahudu, where people didn't go to school. My friends were married off at the age of 12. And so at the age of 11, by the age of 11, I had no friend. They were all married, but I wanted to go to school. And I insisted on, for me, education came first, and I needed to escape from the ghetto. So I focused on myself and the people around me and everything. When I turned 40, and that was in 2013, I realized that I had become the problem of Nigeria by not speaking out. The things that I hated were happening. Why? Because I hated the adults who seemingly looked hopeless. I wouldn't do anything. And you know something, Ambassador Temple said something about the historical perspective of Nigerians' capacity to not make demands. And I say it comes down from our upbringing. And we were brought up never to say anything. Elders are always right. Those of us who challenged elders when we were young, we were seen as stubborn children, and we were always punished for that. And I say we simply have grown into adults. We replaced our parents and adults in our lives. We replaced them with the government, and we have not been making demands. So at 40, and I looked at myself, I'm like, wow, I've become the problem, because there were so many little children that were also going through what I went through. In 1991, I wrote the same exam that Chibok girls were writing in 2014 when they were abducted, the SSE. I didn't have books. I didn't have textbooks. And I went around begging people to give me textbook. I remember a chemistry textbook called Abadu by Oseya Abadu. And I was saying, please, can I have this book so that I will get an A? I promised an A if only I could get the textbook. But I never did. And so I realized I had become the problem. And I said, look, I needed to start, I put my voice on national issue. And that was in 2013. And by the time I was looking at to say, what is it that I needed to put my voice on, Chibok girls happened. And that was why, of course, that was the first time that people heard from me. Because initially what I focused on, growing up a very poor person from a very poor family, we have no connection, nothing. And I knew I just needed to escape from the ghetto. And so I needed to focus on myself to be financially independent, because unfortunately in Nigeria is a country where if you're poor, you're faceless, nameless, and voiceless. You're not seen as a human being. And so for me, financial independence came first. And by 40, I decided I was looking at Chibok girls happen. And you ask me, why do I go on? I see myself as the Chibok girl at this so many years ago. And I know how hard it is to try to get education. How hard it is coming from a place where the girl child education isn't seen as anything. The Northeast, first of all, is an area where a lot of girls were into school. I remember a Chibok father in 2014 said to us, government used to fine us for not sending our children to school. That now that we have sent our children to school and that they've been taken away, who is going to fine the government? So for me, that was a major, major issue. When you talk about why do I always say that there's nothing, I will never give up on Nigeria, because I want to fight for the unborn Nigerians, the unborn generation that will be coming to Nigeria, the same way that I wish others had fought for me before I came to Nigeria. I'm not going to be an irresponsible parent and leave this fight for my children the way our parents have left the fight for us. And so these are part of the things for me that keep me going. And you talk about the issue of whether this is hopeless. No, it is not hopeless. And that's the thing that they always want to make us believe, that, oh, you're doing this thing and there's nothing you're doing. When you're living history, it looks as forever. When Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, 27 years, he will never, from the first year, it's a long time, but he stayed on. And that's what we should do as Nigerians, is to stay on. And the thing is that we must always look at the gains that we have had. More people are speaking out today. More people are standing for the right. More people know that they have to challenge the system. And that, for me, is everything. And we must continue on that momentum. We must always continue on that. I remember that no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. And this is our country. And we have a right, not just those who have political power or who have the word. Every Nigerian citizen has a right as much as every other Nigerian. Chibok girls have been, 107 Chibok girls have been released, brought back, right? And then they were sent to what's the name of the school in Yola, be able to start schooling. And they've been there for over about three years now, 3 years. Yeah, the last ones were found. The first one was found in 2016. The last one we got in about 2017. And they are not allowed to mix with the rest of the students. They are kept away. These are victims. These are not perpetrators. These are victims. First of all, what they did with the Bring Back Our Girls movement, that they refused to allow us to have access to them, and they want them from reaching out to us. So we couldn't really monitor what was going on. They kept them there, refused to allow them mingle with other students and other members of society. Most of them are frustrated. 3 years on, they still haven't written their SSC. They don't know what is going to happen today. They don't know where they're going to do, where their future is leading to. About 4 or 5 have, out of frustration, left the program and gone back home. That is what Nigeria is all about. It seems as if Nigeria is a state where when you take arms up against the government is ready to listen to you, to fawn over whatever you want and take care of you. But when you legitimately demand, you are locked up, you're tortured, and the kids sometimes thrown away.